r/Neckbeardstories by Redmond Detis. Living with two neckbeards and a legbeard. Part 5. Hey Reddit peoples. So the plan for this post was originally to talk about the drama that led to Carrie and myself finally moving out of the neckbeard nest that had once been our flat. But Carrie and a couple other friends who know about these posts have informed me that they might have some screenshots, or be able to get a hold of some screenshots, of posts or messages from the clan that some folks might find interesting. So the plan now is to just post a couple of anecdotes about life with a beard right now and wait for those screenshots. Parts 1 to 4. Video links in the description. The gym flirting incident. As you folks will know by now if you've seen my previous posts, Declan was a big fan of the gym. When he wasn't lying on our sofa bed, eating and watching Netflix, he'd be at the gym. In Declan's mind, this made him insanely attractive to girls. He thought that having muscles, and that manly scent of only showering once a fortnight, was enough to make him absolutely irresistible. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Unfortunately, Carrie and I were not there to witness this particular event. God, I wish we had been. Instead, this tale was told to us by a mutual friend. See, Declan had a group of about 3 guys who he frequented the gym with, mutual friend included. I was going to make a comment about how they managed to deal with the awful scent, but we were living with him so I can't really talk. On this particular day, Declan and his gym buddies had been lifting some weights when Declan headed off to another side of the gym. Thinking something was wrong, our mutual friend, Kyle, followed him. Turns out that everything was fine. For Declan at least, he'd just seen a girl that he found very attractive and had decided to follow her to the rowing machines to try and strike up a conversation. Or, more accurately, to make some really gross comments, commend her, a female, for taking such good care of herself and generally make this poor girl really uncomfortable. As you can probably guess, the girl didn't fall for his creepy attempts at flirting and opted to move to the treadmills to get away from him. Kyle managed to get Declan to stay on the rowing machines for a little while and try and keep him away from this girl who, understandably, wanted nothing to do with him. Eventually though, Declan decided to try again. Because it's not like the girl was 100% clear about her wants when she ignored his advances and moved as far away from him as humanly possible. So, Declan hops up onto the treadmill beside her and decides he's going to impress her by increasing the speed and steepness. I dunno folks, I don't know gym terms, of the machine. I don't know about you folks, but in my limited experience with gyms, and from what Kyle told me, there's this little disc thing in the machine that's attached to a string. You'd clip the string to your clothes whilst you're running on the machine, and if you happened to fall off, the string would pull the disc out and the machine would stop. Declan did not attach the string to his clothes. Apparently he thought that this was for wusses. Because, as we all know, real men don't need safety, it's more manly to do it the moron way. I'm sure you all know where this is going. From what Kyle told us, Declan didn't try to speak to the girl, instead deciding that she'd be blown away by how athletic he was. This didn't happen. Instead, Declan spent about 5 minutes running beside this girl before realizing just how fast the machine was going. Kyle told us that there was a few seconds when he saw Declan stumble that he wanted to help him, then he remembered just how much of a creep Declan had been and decided to just let this magical event happen. Declan stumbled a few more times and desperately tried to turn the treadmill off, but it wasn't happening. The machine eventually got the best of him and Declan went flying. Let's just take a minute to remember that this wouldn't have happened if he hadn't been such a show off and just clipped the emergency stop string thing to his shirt. Needless to say, seeing the creep that has been following you around the gym make a complete ass of himself seemed to cheer the girl up. Kyle had offered to drop Declan off at home, getting death glares from Declan for laughing at him. He was more than happy to tell us the story while Declan went to his brother to bitch about females and bad friends. He actually didn't go back to the gym for a few weeks after that, must have been too embarrassed. This was awesome news for the poor girl he'd been following at the gym, but not so great for us. It's not too fun when you come home after a long day at work, gasping for a cuppa only to have to wait half an hour because Declan is doing cardio workouts in the kitchen. Can you see me? No? Wasn't really sure what to call this one, so apologies for the kinda creepy title. This story happened around the time that Carrie started going out with a girl from college. We'll just call her Maya. They didn't go out for very long, choosing to just stay friends. But as you could imagine, Mike and Janice, but especially Janice, were not happy with this. They barely acknowledged Maya's existence, which could be seen as more of a blessing than a curse really, and whenever they did speak to her it was always to give some sort of condescending relationship advice. Stuff like Carrie just got a new dress today. You mind and tell her that she looks pretty or she's not having a good day today. You should let her speak and just listen to her. I'm honestly shocked that Maya didn't smack a bitch. They were condescending assholes to her and she just nodded and smiled her way through it. Anyway, one thing in particular that Mike and Janice didn't like was the little inside jokes, as the beards liked to call them, that Maya and Carrie had. They weren't really inside jokes at all though. See, where Carrie and myself grew up, the show still game was, and still is, really popular. Like to the point where most people can't go a full day with coming out with a quote from the show. Maya and Carrie's favorite was "Can you see me no?" Whenever they were meeting up or saw each other in the street, they'd text "Can you see me no?" to each other. That was it. Literally just a couple quoting their favorite TV show. But Mike and Janice still managed to make it awkward. Basically, we'd all planned to go out for a drink with bunch of mutual friends, which unfortunately meant that the Beard clan would be coming along. Janice had decided that she wanted to join in with Carrie and Maya's inside joke and texted Carrie when they were on their way to the meeting point. However, as she later admitted, she couldn't remember the exact quote and decided to wing it a little bit. This resulted in Carrie getting texts that simply read "We're watching you, can you see us?" Mate, how effing ominous is that? The "We're watching you" text was sent separately and didn't have the X's that Janice often added to her texts, so we assumed that must have been a first draft that was sent by mistake. But still, dude, why? Janice got a little defensive when Carrie asked her about it and said that it wasn't her fault she got the quote wrong because she and Mike don't watch that kind of crap. Then why the hell would you do it in the first place? Anyways, that's pretty much it. Carrie and Maya went out for about 2 months but decided to just be friends instead. You should have seen the look on Janice's face when she found out that they'd broken up but would still be hanging out with each other. I've never seen a face go from pure happiness to absolute hatred so quickly in my entire life. Halloween kink? Basically, this is about the time that Mike and Janice got it into their heads that I had a thing for Michael Myers. Now, I absolutely love horror movies, specifically the Halloween franchise. I saw the first movie when I was about 6 and from then I just fell in love with the movies. A few months into living with the Beards, before the living room became an uninhabitable mess, thanks Declan, I'd been curled up on the couch watching Halloween and video calling with a mutual friend. I'd made a joke about her having a crush on someone from her favorite horror film and she fired back with a joke about me fancying Michael, jokingly referring to him as Daddy Michael in the process. Mike and Janice were in the kitchen getting food and had overheard her remark. This is something they commonly did. If Carrie or I were talking to someone on the phone or whatever and weren't in our room, then Mike and Janice would always conveniently be somewhere close so that they'd just happen to overhear what we were talking about. Or, if Mike was in the middle of a game and didn't want to leave, they'd keep their bedroom door open to eavesdrop. Apparently, Mike and Janice found the thought of me being attracted to literal horror movie killer to be cute and endearing. Mike made a comment about how if I ever wanted to spend a night with Michael, he'd be more than happy to get a Mars and help me out with that. He said it in a tone that could be considered joking, so I just sort of awkwardly chuckled and went back to talking to my friend. They got me a effing Michael Myers mask. It wasn't my birthday or Christmas or any other gift giving holiday. They handed it to me and I swear they looked so giddy it was kinda creepy. It took literal months for me to convince them that I did not have a Michael Myers kink. Like, I love the Halloween movie and Michael Myers, but if that bitch comes at me with a knife you can be damn sure I'm running in the opposite direction. He's a scary big bastard. Not really anything else to this particular tale, just Mike and Janice being a couple of roasters. I'm gonna stop here because this is getting pretty long. I promise you peeps that the next post will delve into the drama that led to our eventual escape from life with the Beard clan and all the trouble that followed it. Bye guys. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening.